living alone as an aging spouse whose husband has been in a hospital or skilled nursing for almost 7 weeks now has created an array of different feelings that I'm having in what they might call the home alone syndrome. We don't think, at least we're hoping it's not going to be a forever thing. I know some of you have husbands in nursing homes or skilled nursing, and you might be experiencing things like this, at least maybe in the beginning. And I think that's my problem. It's going through these things in the beginning. I thought maybe we'd like to talk about it. As if you've watched my last video, you know that this week I have been spending a lot of time with Colleen and Micah's golden retriever, Harley. And it's been very cathartic for me having somebody to talk to. I find myself talking to the dog. Well, I always talk to Shamu, our cat, anyway. I'm experiencing a silence in the house that I really never noticed before. I find that I keep the TV on most of the night, whether I'm sleeping or awake or what, and might shut it off at 3 or 4 in the morning. I realize that there is a little bit of uneasiness in the house alone. It's just a tiny cottage. And although Moosie and I don't spend every single minute together when he's here, sitting, chatting with each other, he has things he likes to do in the daytime. I have my things, just like we did all our lives. It's almost as if he would go off to work in the morning like he used to, and I had all the things that I did. But when he's outside, I'll sit out there with him sometimes, not all the time though. He does love the bird watching, and he does listen to music in his ears. They're connected to his hearing aids. And then he'll do a little bit of exercises on his own. And when he's inside in the heat of the summer, he really couldn't stay out too awfully long. He loves to watch old movies down here in Moosie's world, and watches a lot of sports and ball games. And I'm doing my thing at the same time. Even when I was in my bed doing my editing or whatever, I never had the TV on. I think I've told you that. I'm not addicted to watching TV in the daytime at all. The only time we watched TV was when he would come in the evenings, and we would sit in bed and usually watch Netflix or Prime or some movie, or if we were involved in a series, we'd watch that together. So we would spend, several hours at night in the bed watching something together. But he did his thing in the daytime, I did mine, and we'd interact at meal times, and I'd go out and sit there or whatever. So I'm wondering why the silence is so bothersome to me. Now, I don't need therapy to begin with. Our daughter Colleen is a therapist if I did. So I'm really okay. I'm not in any sort of a depression at all. I want you to know that. But I'm amazed at some of the feelings that I have. And I think the reason that I keep the TV on all the time is to fill that void of silence. I have read something about this, and it's called the home alone theory. There's always a theory or a syndrome attached to these feelings. But it's not as if I had to put Moosie in a nursing home forever, as a lot of women probably do, or maybe it's the opposite. Men might have to put their spouses in. But I know it is going to be for a longer time. Maybe hearing the news from the doctor last week that he could be there for the full 100 days, which brings us to December. That's a long time for people to be separated. It's what they call, of course, I did some reading about it too. They call it the separation of the marital living space, that there are so many transitional changes, and you will go through a series of these things. And I am experiencing them now. it's just a strange feeling. It's not a depression. It's just me getting used to a different type of living. And the thing that bothers me is that I can't get into doing well, maybe I will. This week was definitely the dog's week. I do want to do hobbies. I want to get back to that. But at the same time, I don't have the urge to do that yet. In the beginning, after Moose fell, he was in the hospital and he was very, very sick. Terrible pain and broke his neck, as you know. And I was back and forth to the hospital every single day, spending hours there. And even when he was in the acute rehab, the same thing. And I had to buy skivvies, extra skivvies. I had to get him some more clothes for the rehab. And I was busy, but always going back and forth and seeing Moosie. Well, now that I know he's settled in the skilled nursing home for probably the next couple of months, hopefully, because he does need, as the doctor said, he does need the skilled care to build his body up and become strong again. He's lost a lot of weight, and being mainly most of the day for such a long time flat on his back, now he sits up a lot more in a chair, and that's good for him. And as a matter of fact, he feels better sitting up. But the news that he might have to wear this collar for at least 6 months, possibly for the rest of his life, kind of hit both of us at the same time. And I know that will affect our lives. But at least I know in my mind, and I'm kind of hanging on to that at some point he will come home and we'll make the best of living here, as long as he'll be able to get around as he used to with his rollator. Or even if I have to, we have a tiny little place here. We're never more than 25 feet apart. If I'm in the bedroom and he's here, I'm in the kitchen. That's the way it is. Very cozy and perfect for us. So that's my dilemma of the week. And I've talked it over with Moosie. The other thing he wants me to do, he was wearing one of those safety things around his neck that is connected to, up hidden behind all the decor, the fall decor, is a help button that is connected to a company that if he fell, and he wears this outside, all he had to do is push that button. I think you've seen these things advertised on TV. And it would connect you to them right away and say, is everything okay? And then I talk, or he talks and says, no, we need someone, my husband fell, or yes, I'm sorry. We have a lot of mistakes too. If you sit down too fast, something will alert them with that. But we talked about me being alone and the different feelings I'm having. And he's, number one, worried about if I fell. Since I found out I have bone-on-bone arthritis in both knees and my torn meniscus and all that from 5 or 6 months ago, I'm fine. I walk around and everything, but you never know when one of those knees is going to give out on you again. So I will do what Moosie wants me to do, and I'm going to start wearing that. I did put it away in his drawer, so I'm going to get it out. And I add that to my jewelry. I'm looking at some of my notes, and I wrote down that maybe I'm missing the caretaker part of my life. It wasn't huge, thank God. He was mobile with his rollator anyway. Moosie doesn't have any balance on his own. But there was a certain amount of caretaking. And I thought, well, gee, maybe I'm missing that. I thought that maybe that would be something that might make me feel a little freer to do some of the things that I wasn't doing when I was caretaking. But that doesn't seem to enter into it, I don't think. From what I've read, I think it's a normal feeling to go through all these different feelings of it's not a loss, thank God, because I can see him every day. And that does help, especially when he's upbeat and having a good day. I was very surprised that I wasn't wanting to go out more to the thrift shop or digging into projects and being busy. I'm more of a slug, quite frankly, than anything else right now. And maybe I just needed that, maybe I just needed to relax and just let my body just decompress. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But I would love to hear your feelings on this. I know many of you have lost your husbands. And did you go through this in the beginning? Maybe you still are feeling all these feelings of an empty home and trying to adjust to moving on to a new way of life for yourself. Though I will be 87 in about 6 weeks. And I think that when I think back of the last time that Moosie was in a skilled nursing for almost 4 or 5 months, he did have a bad break with a hip. And that's when all his balance problems started. It never really healed right. And I don't think I went through this, but when I think back, believe it or not, I was about 5 or 6 years younger. I was maybe just approaching my 80s and I was still substitute teaching. So I was active, and I think, as they say, as you get older, your feelings of time passing and the way your body gets older faster as you get older. So maybe your mind goes along with it too. So this is not a problem for me. I don't want you to worry at all. It's just me recognizing the feelings that I, quite frankly, didn't expect to feel so strongly. But the visits with Moosie do help. Talking with him on the phone several times throughout the day, that helps. And of course, seeing children. That's the big thing. All my daughters are at work, and they all have jobs, all the sons. Thank God everybody works. So the daytime we talk on the phone. The kids call me to check on me, usually at the end of every day, and that makes me feel good too. Anyway, that's my story for today. And I just found it unusual and surprising that I would have these feelings of the silence bothering me, and also the sense of being alone. So my babysitting job ends tomorrow. I have enjoyed it. It was different. It took up a lot of my time this week, playing ball and dealing with the anxieties of the doggy being alone too. But it was good for me. Do let me know, friends, if you have experienced some of this too. Let me just check over my notes and see if there's anything here that I've forgotten. I mentioned the fact of perhaps missing the care that I've been giving to Moosie, or not realizing that I'm sort of in between one way of living and transitioning to another for a while. I can handle it. I know I can. It's just that I was surprised at the feelings. There are some things that I can do to pull myself out of this. I'm not in deep. Number one, create a balance between living here alone, the part of my day that is visiting Moosie, and to personally seek out some things that I enjoy doing. Now, I've been trying to do that, but at the same time, I guess I haven't had the energy. This week was not really the week to try all that out anyway with the dog. Make a list of your daily chores, what's important to you, what you think you should do, and what you think you can kind of slough off. Nobody's coming to the cottage anyway, and that's my thinking. Oh, nobody will see the pile of sweaters that is still on the side of where Moosie sleeps on the bed. Another one of the points is to learn to enjoy your own company. And I think when you've been married 64 years, you always consider yourself a part of a onesie. But yet I do enjoy my own company because, as I say, we were not tied to the hip every single day. Oh, one of the other things was discipline yourself. Now, is that really necessary? I always thought I had discipline when I needed it. And sometimes I've sort of been living by the seat of my pants because I didn't know what the next day would bring. But I think you do have to have somewhat of, I've never been a totally organized person. I've always, with so many kids, raising 6 kids and the activities, I think back on some of my days where I was so busy. In fact, I was talking to Colleen the other day for an hour and a half on the phone. It was before they went on their little trip. And I was saying to her, gosh, remember the days when you guys were involved in just about everything, and we had baseball and football and teenager stuff and busy, loving every minute of it. And, as you get older, you don't have energy for all that anymore. But I still think for 87, I do need and want the socialization of the kids, and every now and then a good friend. I have a couple of them, but most of the time my daughters were my best friends and I did everything with them, or daughter-in-laws too, for that matter. There is a little boredom involved in this too, and that's my choice, is that I decided to be somewhat of a slug for a while, and I will get over that. I should probably do a little bit more. My food choices are completely different from what I normally would be cooking for Moosie. Maybe I miss the cooking, I don't know. But I don't miss the eating. I'm enjoying my deviled eggs. Oh, am I eating eggs? Aiden gives me 3 chicken eggs every single day when he cleans out the chicken coop. This is the sweet chicken coop that Micah made and painted for Colleen for her birthday. I think it was the birthday a couple months ago. And these are her 3 new little girls that she calls replace the 3 kids that have gone off and they've become empty nesters. And they're at college. I'm making all sorts of things. Tomorrow morning, I've decided to make myself Eggs Benedict. I think I have some of the makings for hollandaise sauce because I have to have that. I have an English muffin, and maybe I don't need the meat. I don't think I have any meat anyway, but I think I will. Oh, I'll use bacon. I think I'll enjoy that. Let me know what you would like me to be doing from here on in. I just can't stick with this same, there's other things to life that you might want to hear. I know I used to do a lot of hair and makeup and fashion and running around thrifting and everything. Oh, and by the way, the hair. Can you see how long my hair has gotten? I will be cutting it a bit as soon as I know the heat is over with. I think we're due for a couple of more hot days. But I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to try out some hairdos, and I don't know whether I like it straight and long or whether I like that fuller haircut, which reminds me a lot of what I wore for so many years. I think I might like to get back to the scrunchy hairdo. I've also decided to stick with my e.l.f. Soft Glam. This has been wonderful through the summer. It's so easy to put on, and I love the coverage. It's light, and I think I'm going to stick with this. In fact, I bought 2 more as a backup, and I might stick with this for the rest of the year. I did love my dewy, I forget the name of that, this one. Who makes this? Oh, Wet n Wild. I really do. And I still love it, but it's a little bit heavier. And maybe I'll go back to that. But I do love that elf. So maybe I'll start doing a few more little makeup things, get back to that. Maybe vary some of my videos a bit. What would you like to see from here on in? Debbie is always purging from her closet. I have my eye on a skirt that she's never worn. It's a Ralph Lauren Aztec, sort of a straight knit wrap. And I would love that. Still sitting in her closet. I don't think she plans to wear it. She's had it for a year, and I'm waiting for it to be in one of those packages. So, my Moosie does want me to thank you for all your prayers and all the comments that you've made all along ever since he fell. He's so appreciative, and he is very, very thankful that you all feel he looks like Hemingway or a very distinguished professor. He would love to smile a little bit better. But, you know, I think I told you that we were just ready to get his false teeth, and I've already paid for the set of dentures. And 4 days after he fell, we had the appointment to get the rest of the teeth pulled and the dentures put in. So he's had these 2 teeth missing for quite a while, and many in the back. We were looking forward to that. So I don't know when we'll be able to have that done again. We'll see. But he says hi and thank you for all your prayers and well wishes. Okay, it's time for me to go out, play ball with the dog for a few times, and then I'm going to have to get ready to go over and see Moosie. Thanks so much, my friends, for watching all of these things. By the way, please include all the people back east who lost homes, lost family, loved ones. What a terrible thing that Hurricane Helene was. All over the Southeast in many, many different states. And I am so sorry, and I hope that all of you pray for the losses and for the people that were victims of all this. Bye for now. God bless us all. Same 2 people.
Yeah, loving the hell out of each other.